The dog hadn't moved in 72 hours. They thought he was overwhelmed by the new baby. He was doing something that required his entire attention. Harlow had been their golden retriever for 3 years, a calm, food-motivated, deeply routine-based dog who treated the schedule of his day with the seriousness of a professional. He ate at 7:15 in the morning. He walked at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He slept at the foot of the bed. His predictability was one of the things they had loved about him before they understood how much they were going to need it. The baby, Rose, came home on a Thursday. She was 4 days old, discharged from the hospital with a bilirubin level that the nurses noted and flagged as borderline and told them to watch. They were told to make sure she was feeding well. They were told to check her color in good light. They were sleep-deprived, first-time parents, and they were doing everything the discharge papers said. Harlow met Rose at the door, the full 10-second inspection that he gave everything new, and then did something that stopped both Megan and her husband, Tobias, in the doorway. He lay down directly beside the bassinet that Tobias was setting up and did not move from that position for the rest of the night. In the morning, he had not moved. He had not gone to his food bowl. He had not gone to the door at 4 o'clock for his walk. He lay pressed against the outside of the bassinet with his head resting close to Rose, eyes open, breathing slow, and would not be recalled by name or by the sound of the treat bag. Tobias called it strange and decided Harlow was overwhelmed by the disruption to his routine. Megan watched more carefully. By the second evening, Harlow had gone 36 hours without eating. He would take water from his bowl briefly and return. He had not crossed the room for any other reason. He was positioned with a specificity that was increasingly impossible to dismiss as coincidence, consistently toward the south end of the bassinet, the end near Rose's head. On day 3, Megan looked at Rose in the afternoon light coming through the east window. Rose's skin had a color that was wrong. Not dramatically wrong, a yellow undertone to what should have been pink. She checked the whites of her eyes. Yellow. She called the pediatrician at 3:47 in the afternoon. The nurse told her to come in immediately. Rose's bilirubin was 18.2 milligrams per deciliter. The threshold for phototherapy in a 4-day-old is 15.0. She was above the line for treatment. She went back to the hospital that afternoon for phototherapy, the blue light treatment that breaks down bilirubin in the bloodstream. She stayed 24 hours. She came home with the portable Billy blanket that Megan and Tobias ran for 3 days. At the follow-up appointment, the neonatologist, Dr. Camille Osei, reviewed the timeline of discharge to detection. She said the level at discharge had been borderline, and that in her experience, with first-time parents managing everything for the first time, borderline jaundice on day 4 had a tendency to be managed by the parents watching their baby in indoor lighting, which was insufficient for accurate color detection, for another 2 to 3 days before the warning signs became impossible to ignore. She asked, "What made you check her in the window light on day 3? What prompted you to look?" Megan said, "The dog hadn't eaten in 72 hours. He hadn't left her side. I thought if he's this concerned, I should look harder at her." Dr. Osei wrote something in her notes. She said, "Dogs detect bilirubin. It's a compound with a distinct chemical profile. In cases of neonatal jaundice, the accumulation is detectable on the skin surface and in the breath before the yellowing is visible in artificial light." She looked up. He was 3 days ahead of the visible symptoms. She paused. 3 days is a significant margin in a newborn. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Has your dog ever changed behavior dramatically the day you brought a newborn home? In a way that felt like more than adjustment? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Rose is 5 months old. She is pink-cheeked and round and completely recovered. Her bilirubin is normal and has been for months. Harlow went back to his routine the day after Rose's levels normalized. He ate his breakfast. He went on his 4 o'clock walk. He sleeps at the foot of the bed. He still checks the bassinet every morning. A brief inspection, nose to the mesh side, A slow exhale. Then he goes to his food bowl. Everything is fine. He just needs to confirm it himself. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one.